You're a law-abiding police officer, yet you've got nothing but shady skills. Counterfeiting, lockpicking, mugging, tomb raiding, organ harvesting. Not a single skill you have is remotely related to police work. When you started using these shady skills one by one, your superiors and colleagues were all stunned. Today is your first day on the job. As soon as you left, you bound to the super detective system. As long as you catch criminals or solve cases, you get random rewards. You were feeling pretty cocky, but before you could even celebrate, the skills you drew left you dumbfounded. Detective skill extraction complete. Painter, 100% authentic banknote reproduction. You're one resignation letter away from being a billionaire. Kid, are you sure you don't want to pull off a big job? Damn it, system, you've really outdone yourself. I'm a cop, for crying out loud. You give me a skill for making fake money? Do you want me to burn out the sewing machine? Before you could even think, a flood of counterfeiting knowledge rushed into your brain. It even maxed out your drawing and copying abilities. You were fuming inside. But you felt it wasn't a huge deal. You guessed the system was just glitching, a low probability event. The next reward would surely be normal. After all, this is the super detective system. The name says it all. The rewards must be useful for a police officer. It couldn't keep giving you criminal skills. So, you happily went to the breakfast stop. The owner's daughter was copying a drawing from her textbook. Big brother, do you know how to draw? You're a regular at this stop. You've gotten quite close to the owner's daughter. The little girl is cute and very polite. You agreed without much thought. You decided to give her a few pointers while waiting for your noodles. It's simple. Look, hold the pencilitis, big brother. Take a look at the picture you need to copy. Then you can start drawing. As you explained, you used the pencil in your hand to copy the picture from the book onto the paper perfectly. Even the tiny printing flaws in the book were observed by you and replicated exactly. How's that? Did you learn it? The little girl looked at your finished drawing, then looked up at you, tilting her head. Her mouth was slightly open. She didn't know what to say. Holding the pencil and looking at the book, she learned those 2 steps. But every step after the pencil touched the paper, she didn't learn at all. She didn't even know where to start. She felt lie you taught her, but also lie you taught her nothing. At the next table, a dark-skinned, middle-aged man was staring intensely at your drawing. The drawing you just casually made was identical to the one in the book. It was exactly the same. Every single detail matched up. Even the tiny printing flaws were replicated by you perfectly. The man looked at you a few more times, then slowly got up and left the shop. You noticed his strange gaze, but didn't think much of it. After finishing your noodles, you left the shop. However, not long after you walked out, a black Mercedes pulled up beside you. The window rolled down. It was that middle-aged man. Young man, I saw your drawing earlier. I think your technique is excellent. Would you lie to help me copy a painting? Sorry, I have to go to work. I don't have time. You refused without thinking. I have to report for duty. Being late on my first day wouldn't look good. Unexpectedly, after being rejected, the man didn't show any signs of giving up. It doesn't matter. Can't you ask for leave? Don't worry. I won't let you work for free. I can pay you. If you draw well enough, I can pay more. This isn't about the money. I really don't have time. Find someone else. The next second, the man pulled a bundle of wrapped $100 bills from the car. If you copy it realistically enough, I can pay you an extra 100,000. Are you trying to insult me with money? You originally wanted to yell at him lie that, but he was offering way too much. What do you need me to draw? For a split second, you were actually tempted, but you quickly realized that there's no such thing as a free lunch. Getting 100,000 just for copying a painting? A little thought makes it obvious that something is definitely wrong here. The man is either a scammer or an organ harvester, or he wants to use your skills to forge famous paintings and profit from it. Either way, it's illegal. Whether it's organ harvesting or forging paintings, it's likely a gang operation. There's a whole chain of command. If you could make a big contribution by taking down a gang, your eyes suddenly became quite intense. This isn't just some middle-aged uncle. This is a walking third-class merit award. The man saw your expression and smiled. Sure enough, no one can refuse the temptation of extra money. Money makes the world go round. That saying is really true. There are too many people here to talk. Get in the car first. You didn't say a word and walked to the passenger door, opened it, and got inside. What exactly do you want me to draw? You looked relaxed while speaking, but every muscle in your body was tense. If this uncle really is an organ harvester and wants to make a move on you, you're confident you can counter him immediately. You're a police academy graduate, after all. You've had professional training, and your combat scores were excellent. Unless you run into a pro, 3 or 4 guys are no met for you. That's the confidence you have in getting on this thief ship. No rush, you'll know in a minute. The man kept his eyes on the road, focused on driving. An hour later, the car drove out of the city, up a mountain road in the suburbs to the summit. There was no road ahead, only a viewing platform. You observed that the platform was empty, meaning he probably isn't kidnapping you for organs, but rather for forging paintings. Realizing the conversation you were about to have could serve as evidence of his crime, you secretly turned on your phone's recording mode. The man stopped the car and turned to look at you. Before he could speak, you said first, if I'm not mistaken, you're into forging paintings, not just light rail paintings, but so real that even top experts can't tell the difference. I've been looking for the top talent I need, but I haven't found anyone for a long time. I didn't expect to run into you while grabbing breakfast today. How does that saying go? Searching high and low. It was right under my nose. I knew it. No wonder you offered so much money and were so mysterious, insisting on bringing me to a deserted place to talk. Go ahead. Which master's work do you want me to copy? The man opened his trench coat, pulled a $100 bill from his pocket, and held it out to you. Didn't we agree on 100,000? Why is it 100? If you only give me this much, it's hard for me to work for you. You misunderstood. I mean, I want you to copy this banknote. You were clearly stunned. This reaction wasn't faked. You were genuinely shocked by this crazy guy. You thought he was just someone forging paintings for profit. Who knew the truth was even more shocking? This guy is a crazy counterfeiter. You want to go to prison, but I don't. After a brief moment of SOC, you dropped a line, opened the door, and turned to leave. While processing the information, you silently counted 1, 2, 3. Sure enough, as soon as you finished counting, the man opened the door and chased after you. He had already anticipated your reaction. After hearing his intent, he wasn't angry at being scolded at all. On the contrary, he was quite satisfied with your reaction. After all, any normal person would react just like you did. Those who encounter a criminal and immediately jump at the chance aren't normal. They're likely police. From his perspective, Su Lai is clearly not a cop. There's a reason he drove to the mountaintop before revealing his intent. There's no one on the mountain, so no need to worry about police catching him. Also, on the mountain. Even if you were scared off by his words, he could still chase you down and persuade you. But in a busy city, he could only watch helplessly. Once you ran into a crowd, it wouldn't be easy to find you again. Don't misunderstand. I'm not those reckless, low-quality forgery groups. I'm a professional, and I've never failed. You only need to help me with the production. I guarantee you won't be implicated. You're safe, and he's guaranteeing it? I don't even know your name. What are you using to guarantee it? My name is Wu Cohen from Shenzhen. I've been in this business for over 20 years, let alone being caught by police. They don't even know what I look like. Do you know why? Because I'm cautious enough. I say you're safe, so you're definitely safe. Sulai thought, I am the police. Not only do I know what you look like, I even know your name. But honestly, the name Wu Cohen is a bit abstract. A man can have no house, no car, no money, no wife, but having no balls is a different sheet to read. Taking advantage of your silence, Wu Cohen continued. Our fake money is very realistic, and we only do wholesale. We only deal with trusted customers. The risk of exposure is very low. Even if we were investigated, they wouldn't find you. I said, you only need to help with production. Don't worry about the rest. We have our rules. Anyone caught will never betray their partners. I can guarantee your safety. Looking at you, you must be a fresh college graduate. How much do you earn a month? 3,000, 5,000, or 10,000? Is that enough to spend? Saying this, Wu Cohen patted the hood of his Mercedes. Work with me, and within a year, I guarantee you'll be loaded. Cars, houses, women, you'll have it all. Your talent is truly excellent. The best I've ever seen. You probably haven't even realized it yourself. Honestly, I envy your talent, really. But talent alone isn't enough. You need a stage to showcase it. I can give you that stage. Can you imagine? Your copying technique and meticulous observation, combined with my channels and Tim. What kind of sparks could we create? We can create fake money that rivals the real thing. Think about it. Do you choose to leave and remain a nobody, or stay and join me to make it big, and enjoy a life of luxury? Seeing the timing was right, you pretended to struggle for a bit, then gritted your teeth, deliberately portraying yourself as a money-hungry person, to deceive Wu Cohen. I can't fully trust your words. Getting caught making fake money means prison. If you want me to take a risk, 100,000 isn't enough. I want 1 million, 5 million in cash, and it has to be real money from the bank. I need to see you withdraw it from the bank myself. Wu Cohen smiled. This young man is interesting. 5 million? You're a bit greedy, but I lie people lie you. Greedy people seem annoying, but Wu Cohen likes dealing with them, because he knows that those without desire are the most terrifying. Those people are hard to control. Greed means you have a weakness. Your weakness is money. These people are actually easy to control. Just give them money. 5 million isn't impossible to negotiate, but I need to see your skills first. Get in the car, I'll take you somewhere. If nothing goes wrong, the place Wu Cohen is taking me is their hideout. You didn't waste any words. Immediately opened the passenger door and sat in. Longcheng District Branch, 8 a.m. sharp. Chief Zhang Weiman pushed open his office door. His expression was terrible. Clearly, he was in a bad mood. Zhang Weiman arrived early, and originally felt au coup, but as soon as he sat down, he was scolded by the city bureau chief. The reason for the scolding was a case that had been bothering him for a long time. Recently, a large amount of fake money appeared in the city. The first report came from a newlywed couple. The day after their wedding banquet, they took the gift money to the bank. When they got there, they discovered over 2,000 in fake bills. The bank staff helped them call the police. After the police arrived and understood the situation, they realized the problem was significant. The couple had invited over 200 guests, and when they counted the money last night, they had already mixed it all up. There was no way to net the money to the guests. But one thing was certain. The 2,000 in fake bills didn't come from just one person. It came from multiple guests. By comparing, the police also discovered these fake bills were well made. The naked eye could barely distinguish them from real ones. They were likely from the same counterfeiting gang. To take down this gang, they needed to find the source of the fake money and follow the trail. But that's easier said than done. It wasn't easy at all. Too many people were involved. Some might not even know they had received fake money and had passed it on as gift money. This report was just the beginning. Before they could interview all 200 guests, the police received several more calls, all about fake money. That batch of well-made fake bills was circulating throughout the city. Countless small vendors had been hit. Vendors who didn't want to spend money on a detector were forced to refuse paper money. This drew great attention from higher-ups. The case had been investigated for half a month with no results. The city bureau's accountability call had reached Zhang Weiman. As the branch chief, Zhang Weiman was worried sick. He wanted to solve the case quickly, but the department had been investigating day and night for half a month and still had nothing. No ideas. The case involved too many people. Tracing the source was like looking for a needle in a haystack. The city bureau gave me a final order. 1 more week. The case must be solved within a week. The amount involved is huge, and the impact is terrible. Zhang Weiman said a lot, but to summarize, it could be summed up in 4 words. Solve it fast. The officers also wanted to solve it quickly. After all, a case with such a huge amount and such a terrible impact would be a major achievement. At the very least, a collective third-class merit. Honors in peacetime aren't easy to come by. Opportunities are rare. After Zhang Weiman finished, the officers prepared to leave. All right, everyone, the chief has spoken. Keep investigating. Sigh, so many people have received fake money. We have so few people. How long will this take? Stop complaining. The chief is in a bad mood. Be careful he doesn't hear you. But the lack of manpower is a fact. By the way, wasn't a rookie supposed to report today? Where is he? It's already 8:15. He dares to be late on his first day? Typical Gen Z, right? No marriage, no house, no kids, no burdens on their shoulders. They just do whatever they want. They really see things clearly. If I had realized that and stayed single back then, I might be even more carefree than them. Turn off your phone and put it in the passenger storage bin and put this on. You know, in this business, only by being careful can you sail for 10,000 years. So Wu Cohen took out a black, opaque cloth strip and handed it to Sulai. He was bold, but also very cautious. That's the fundamental reason he's been at large for so long. Without being caught, he decided to take Sulai to the factory because he really needed a painter to draw more precise templates. But before he fully trusted Sulai and considered him one of his own, the location of the factory couldn't be revealed. Sulai knew that if he didn't cooperate, it would be hard to gain this guy's trust. He immediately expressed his understanding, took the cloth, and covered his eyes. Wu Cohen checked to make sure Sulai couldn't see anything, then started the car. The car drove down the mountain road. Soon, they were off the mountain. With his eyes covered, Sulai tried to use his other senses to record the route to deduce the factory's location. But Wu Cohen Kuan seemed to be intentionally guarding against this. He kept talking to Su Lai the whole way, affecting his thinking and judgment, and intentionally took detours, even without the blindfold. It would be hard for Su Lai to remember the route. He gave up on the idea of recording it, and instead started talking to Wu Kuan to lower his guard. About 2 or 3 hours later, the car finally stopped. "We're here. You can take the blindfold off now." With his eyes covered for so long, taking the blindfold off felt uncomfortable. The bright sunlight made Su Lai's eyes ache. After adjusting for a while, he squinted through the window to look at the scene. What came into view was an abandoned factory. The mottled walls were full of traces of time. The rusty iron gate was tightly closed. The factory was overgrown with weeds. No one would ever imagine that someone could be in this desolate place, let alone a counterfeiting gang base, led by Wu Kuan. Su Lai walked into the abandoned factory. Before going in, Su Lai was thinking, if there aren't many people, or if they're all like Wu Kuan, useless in a fight, he'd just take them all down and bring them to the station. But he miscalculated. Including Wu Kuan, the gang had 8 people. The other 7 members seemed to have received word, and were waiting for Wu Kuan to bring someone back. Su Lai sized up the people in front of him. Can't beat them, can't use force. Need to think of another way. Why is it a kid? But, is he any good? As soon as they met, someone questioned him. Drawing templates is delicate work. Knowing how to draw isn't enough. You need enough patience. And young people are mostly impatient. They can't do this delicate work. It's like jade carving. Famous jade carvers are usually older. Young people, although they have better eyesight and physical traits, are mostly reckless. Relatively speaking, they're unreliable. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't worry, I brought him here because I value his talent, Wu Kuan said, taking Su Lai to a workbench. The workbench was filled with all the tools for drawing templates, and a brand new real banknote for comparison. All the tools are here. Of course, if you need anything else, just tell me. I'll have someone go buy it. No need, these should be enough. Then let's start. As soon as Wu Kuan finished speaking, Su Lai picked up the pen and started drawing the template. With the system's counterfeiting skills and drawing tools, drawing the template wasn't difficult for Su Lai. Of course, because there are many details on the bill. It would still take some time. When Su Lai started drawing, the gang members watched from behind him. Although they didn't know art, it wasn't hard to see that Su Lai definitely had some skills. His hand holding the pen was as steady as a machine. In no time, he finished the general frame and started filling in the details. Wu Kuan felt more and more that he had found the right person. Su Lai, although young, his drawing and copying skills are truly impressive. A natural-born master of forgery. With Su Lai on the team, it's like adding wings to a tiger. But the suspicious Wu Kuan still had his doubts. He kept feeling like Su Lai was with the police. Meeting Su Lai felt just too coincidental. This forced him to think it over carefully. After a moment of thought, Wu Kuan reached out and tapped Song Changqing on the shoulder. He gestured for him to move to a different spot. Once they were far enough away, Wu Kuan spoke. Go take a photo of him. Then find someone to ask around. See if this kid was sent by the police. I keep feeling like something's not right. Sure, I'm on it. The counterfeiting gang members all had their roles. Song Changqing acted as the scout for the group. He had an incredibly wide network. He knew people from all walks of life. His intel was solid. He walked back to Su Lai, who was drawing the template. He quietly took out his phone and snapped a photo. Then he sent the photo out. After that, he went back to Wu Kuan's side. The photo's been sent out. But, if this kid really is a cop, should we take him out? Song Changqing made a throat-slitting gesture. His tone was probing. Wu Kuan didn't say a word. He just nodded with a blank expression. Killing someone seemed no different to him than killing a chicken. An average person wouldn't dare touch a police officer. Forget killing, they wouldn't even dare throw a punch. Assaulting an officer is a serious crime. But for desperate men like Wu Kuan, there was nothing they wouldn't dare do. They were already in too deep to care. Having been in the business for so long, the amount of fake money they produced, even Wu Kuan couldn't keep count. Once caught, they'd almost certainly face the firing squad. The crimes they committed were already enough for execution. Why fear one more charge? You could say that to avoid getting caught. They were capable of anything. Not long after the photo was sent, information started trickling back in. Song Changqing, being a criminal himself, couldn't access Su Lai's official records. If he wanted to know if Su Lai was a cop, he had to use the old-fashioned way, asking the local lowlifes. The method was a bit crude, but it was very effective. The local thugs who were constantly getting arrested visited the station more often than their own homes. They were extremely familiar with the police staff. They couldn't do much, but identifying cops, they were spot on. After asking around, the results came back. Song Changqing walked up to Wu Kuan and whispered in his ear. But, I've asked around. There's a high chance the Su Lai is clean, at least as far as I know. There's definitely no one like him in our Shannon police force. As long as no one at the station has seen him, that's good. Wu Kuan nodded. But, do you think he could have been transferred from another city? Unlikely. How old is this kid? If you were a police chief, would you trust a cross-city or even cross-province mission to some green kid? Besides, his way of speaking is clearly local. He even has an accent. That's true. After his worries were completely put to rest, Wu Kuan's mood improved significantly. After finishing the front side, Su Lai didn't rush to draw the back. Instead, he showed the results to Wu Kuan. Take a look and see if it works. Wu Kuan reached out, took the magnifying glass, and compared it carefully against a real banknote. It's identical. 100% accurate. With Su Lai's hand-drawn template, the precision of their fake money could reach a new level. I knew I didn't misjudge you. You really are a talent. After looking, Wu Kuan didn't forget to urge Su Lai. Keep going. The back isn't finished yet, but Su Lai didn't intend to continue. Instead, he stared at Wu Kuan. Didn't you say you wanted to see my skills first? Now you've seen them. I want to know if my price is acceptable to you. Of course, it's just 5 million, right? Finish the drawing and we'll get to work. Once the goods are out, I'll transfer the money to your Osao. I can't wait that long. And I said I wanted cash, real bills. I want to see you withdraw the cash from the bank myself. I don't accept transfers. The risk is too high. The police could track me down in no time. Wu Kuan didn't say a word. Song Changqing understood immediately. He pulled out the dagger tucked into his belt and held it against Su Lai's neck. Draw if you're told to draw. Why the hell are you being so difficult? Song Changqing wouldn't actually do it. At least not before he finished the drawing. Su Lai was certain of that. These people were counting on him to help create a more precise counterfeit template. They couldn't actually kill him. Song Changqing was clearly acting on Wu Kuan's orders to scare him. Su Lai didn't intend to compromise just yet. He had to see Wu Kuan go to the bank to withdraw cash. It wasn't because he was afraid of getting fake money, nor was it because he feared the police tracking a transfer. Those were just excuses. Su Lai's real intention was to get them to the bank and find a way to lure the police in to make arrests. Seeing that even with a knife to his throat, he showed no signs of fear. Song Changqing's expression hardened. Draw now, otherwise, I'll kill you right here. This place is very remote. I could kill you and no one would ever know. Then go ahead and kill me. Su Lai acted like a tough guy and even pushed his neck forward a bit. Hurry up. Anyway, if I can't get rich, there's no point in me living. Damn you. Song Changqing was clearly stunned. Since the hard approach didn't work, Wu Kuan immediately stepped in, deciding to try the soft approach. Alright, put the knife away. Who told you to pull a knife on our own man? Song Changqing pulled the knife away. Then Wu Kuan put on a conciliatory look. Fine, I agree. I'll take you to the bank to get the money. But look at what time it is now. If we leave now, by the time we get to the bank, they'll be on break. It'd be useless. How about this? You draw first. Once you finish the bank will be open. I'll take you to get the money this afternoon. Is that fair enough? The word of a desperate criminal is the least trustworthy. Su Lai knew this clearly. He also knew that the backside he hadn't started yet was his bargaining chip. Once finished, he'd lose his leverage with Wu Kuan. Trying to trick them into going to the bank then would be hard. Whether he could even keep his life was another question. Relying on the important chip in his hand, Su Lai simply started playing the rogue. He believed Wu Kuan would eventually compromise. After all, his leverage was very important to Wu Kuan. I won't draw until I see the money. What if you go back on your word after I finish? Look, it's noon already. How about this? Get me something to eat. We'll go to the bank after I eat. That way we'll catch them right when they open. What do you think? Su Lai, a rookie who hadn't dealt with real criminals, didn't quite understand the ruthlessness of these men. There was nothing these people wouldn't do. Wu Kuan licked his lips, sneered, and said, not drawing? Fine. Unless you take me to the bank first. Changqing, chop off one of his fingers. Oh wait, not his hand. Chop off a toe. You, keep time. Chop off a toe every 10 minutes. If he still won't draw, throw him in the river to feed the fish. Su Lai was just a college student who just graduated from the academy. He'd never even killed a chicken, let alone been through this. Where had he ever encountered a situation like this? His head was buzzing. He'd really messed up. He thought that with his years at the academy, he could handle criminals with ease. Who would have thought he was the one being handled? Now there were 3 paths before him. 1. Stay tough and refuse to draw. The result would be becoming a cripple, then being thrown into the river. 2. Give in now. Be a coward. And keep drawing as they wanted. The consequences? At best, he'd be held captive, becoming a tool for forgery. At worst, he'd lose his life. 3. Fight them, and try to take a few down before he died. He might even be posthumously recognized as a martyr. Song Changqing had already picked up the dagger again. Su Lai's brain was spinning rapidly. He ultimately chose the second path. As long as there's life, there's hope. I'll draw. But we have a deal. When the bank opens this afternoon, you must take me to get the money. That's more like it. Hurry up and draw. Changqing, put the knife away. The ferocity on Wu Kuan's face vanished completely. He put on a harmless expression again. I gave you my word. I'll take you this afternoon, I promise. I'm a man of my word, but only if you behave and don't play any tricks. As long as you're obedient, what's a mere 5 million? You can earn much more by following me. To be honest, Su Lai didn't believe a single word of Wu Kuan's speech. What kind of credibility could a desperate criminal have? Looking at him, I have some business to attend to. Wu Kuan left a sentence and turned to leave. He left Song Changqing and the others to watch Su Lai, to prevent him from playing any tricks. Sitting and waiting for death wasn't Su Lai's style. While continuing to draw the template, he was constantly thinking of ways to trick them into leaving, so he could take them all down at once. When it came to counterfeiting, he was an expert. He knew every step of the process, and he knew what was absolutely essential. For example, color shifting ink. This might be the key to breaking the deadlock. There's one thing I don't understand. Shouldn't you be using a machine to print these in batches? What's the point of having me draw from a real bill? After hearing Su Lai's question, the men exchanged glances. Over the years, new recruits brought in by Wu Kuan had only 2 fates. Either become one of them, or become a corpse. No exceptions. As long as Su Lai was obedient and helped them make the fake money, he'd eventually become part of the team. And until he was fully integrated and had earned their trust, he couldn't take a single step out of this abandoned factory, nor would he have any chance to contact the outside world. So, Su Lai's question wasn't one they couldn't answer. Some things could be said to both their own men and the dead. Song Changqing answered his question. If you really want to know, I don't mind telling you. We need to scan before printing, but the machine can't scan real bills. Scanning a real bill directly causes, what was it called? Noir patterns. Another man with glasses spoke up. The electronic sensors cause high-frequency interference stripes when scanning. Those stripes are called noir patterns, so we need someone to draw all the details of the real bill. Ah, right, noir patterns. Doesn't that mean the more accurately I draw it, the more realistic the fake money will be? If I can replicate the banknote 100%, wouldn't that make it real money? Su Lai was guiding the conversation bit by bit. How could that be? There's a lot of science to this. Drawing the template is just the first step. The method for detecting fake money isn't just about the details. There are also watermarks and color shifting ink. The paper used for printing is also very important. If you can't find the right paper, printing is a waste of time. One touch and you'd know it's fake. Speaking of which, Song Changqing pointed to a machine not far away. Of course, the most important thing is this. Don't underestimate this machine that looks so unremarkable. This is a specialized intaglio printing machine. Only the government has the right to use it. Our bot spent a lot of effort to get this scrapped one. It's been repaired and can be used normally now. Su Lai got the answer he wanted. He immediately followed up on the topic. Watermarks and printing machines. I know. But what is color shifting ink? Song Changqing gave him a look like he was an idiot. Is the name not self-explanatory enough? Understand it literally. Color shifting ink is ink that changes color. But this stuff is very hard to get. We don't have much left. When it came to counterfeiting, Su Lai was far more professional than Song Changqing. Being looked down upon by him didn't feel very good. Imagine you're smiling and asking a kid, what's 1 + 1? And the other person rolls their eyes and says, you idiot, 1 + 1 is equal to 2. You don't even know that? That's exactly how Su Lai felt. Of course he knew what color shifting ink was. Color shifting ink, also known as optically variable ink, is one of the most effective high-tech anti-counterfeiting inks today. Patterns printed with it have a metallic luster. Under natural light, as the viewing angle changes, it displays several different colors. And this stuff cannot be copied by high-definition scanners, color copiers, etc. It has extremely strong anti-counterfeiting properties. Therefore, it is recognized worldwide as high-security ink. The properties of color shifting ink make its control extremely strict. Average people can't get it, let alone make it. Of course, Su Lai was an exception. He knew how to formulate color shifting ink. You can even get a printing machine, but color shifting ink is hard? What the hell do you know? It's not about whether it changes color or not. It's that special kind of ink. It's strictly controlled. You don't know about the last time. Forget it. Why am I telling you this? Hurry up and draw. Seeing that the conversation had been steered far enough, Su Lai dropped a bombshell. What if I told you I'm confident I can formulate this color shifting ink? The men were all stunned. They couldn't believe their ears. This kid said he could formulate color shifting ink? Stop talking nonsense and just draw your picture. Formulate color shifting ink? I think you look like color shifting ink. I'm not joking with you. I'm serious. I'm a tetrachromat. My perception of color is much stronger than a normal person's. I can see colors you can't. Just because you can't do something doesn't mean I can't. The man with glasses took out his phone and searched for tetrachromat. Then he handed the phone to the others. This kid isn't lying. Such people actually exist. They can see far more colors than we normal people can. But there's one thing. The internet says tetrachromats are usually female. Usually doesn't mean exclusively. Sulai said calmly. Song Chongqing looked at the phone to see the introduction about the special features of tetrachromats, then looked at Sulai. If what the internet says is true, tetrachromats are extremely sensitive to color and can see colors ordinary people can't. Then this kid might actually be able to make color shifting ink. He immediately took out his phone and called Wu Koan to report. What did you say? The kid has a way to formulate color shifting ink? What kind of trick is he trying to pull now? Wu Koan, who was out on business, heard the news and subconsciously thought it was a trap. He felt Sulai was trying to play a trick. Having been in this business for over 20 years, he knew how hard color shifting ink was to get. He knew better than anyone. The control of this stuff is quite strict. The batch of color shifting ink Wu Koan and his team were using was stolen from abroad. It's recognized worldwide as high-security ink. Many countries use it, which gave Wu Koan and his team an opportunity. It's hard to get in the country, so they go abroad to get it. After all, guns aren't banned abroad, so the success rate of robbing for color-shifting ink is high. The batch they were using now was stolen in the US 2 years ago. Then it was smuggled into the country, and has been used ever since. The Tim's previous artist was unfortunately shot dead during the robbery. That was the reason Wu Koan sought out Sulai. His team was currently very short of artists. If they could formulate color-shifting ink, Wu Koan wouldn't want to rob for it either. The risk was just too high. Bullets don't have eyes. A slight mistake and you'd be riddled with holes. But he hadn't tried it before. He tried formulating it himself many times, but all ended in failure. This stuff is just too hard to formulate. I don't know what kind of trick he's trying to pull, but the kid says he's a tetrachromat, able to see colors we normal people can't. I looked it up online, and such people do exist. Their perception of color is much stronger than ours. Listening to the words coming from the other end of the phone, Wu Koan was slightly stunned, lost in thought. Bot, can you hear me? Bot, is the signal bad on your end? Song Changqing's words interrupted Wu Koan. I can hear you. Lie this. Take the remaining part of our color shifting ink and let him observe it. Ask him what he needs to formulate it. I'll buy it and bring it back now. Sure, bot. Wait a second, let me ask. Song Chongqing took out the little color-shifting ink they had left for Sulai to analyze. The latter dipped a piece of paper into the ink in the bucket, then started observing. Observing was just a front. This was something Sulai was deliberately doing for them to see. Thanks to the system's rewards, he knew the formulation method for color-shifting ink perfectly. He knew it without even looking. But he still had to put on a show. Song Chongqing on the side was getting anxious. Can you make it? Don't rush me. Sulai said impatiently. After a while, he spoke again. Det, I'm 100% sure I can formulate something identical. The men were overjoyed. Even the usually steady Wu Koan, after hearing Sulai's voice on the phone, couldn't help but feel a bit excited. Chongqing, put it on speaker and let him talk. Sulai, tell me what you need. I'll buy it and bring it back now. Sulai spoke into the phone's receiver, listing the things he needed, but he deliberately left one out. Wu Koan returned to the abandoned factory with a pile of things. See if these are what you need. Sulai glanced at them and then started picking faults. This red is too light. It might not reach the ideal result. And you bought the wrong green, too. Then what should I do? I'll go buy it again. Let me try first, Sulai said. Although you bought the wrong ones, the color difference isn't too big. After saying that, Sulai took the pile of things Wu Koan bought and started formulating the color-shifting ink. After some tinkering, Sulai picked out the formulated ink with a piece of paper, spread it evenly on the paper, and compared it with the paper that had the original ink on it. Although there was still a difference, the color-shifting ink Sulai formulated was already very similar to the real thing. If you didn't look closely, you couldn't tell the difference. Alright, take a look. 2 colors were bought wrong, so it could only be made like this. If the right ones were bought, it would definitely be no problem. Wu Koan took the 2 pieces of paper, compared them from various angles for a long time, and a near pathological smile appeared on his face. Are you sure that as long as you buy the right ones, you can make something identical to the color-shifting ink? Not identical, you're wrong. As long as the colors are bought correctly. This is color-shifting ink. If Wu Koan said he wasn't excited at all, that would be a lie. Being able to formulate color-shifting ink meant they wouldn't have to risk their lives robbing for it anymore. Previously, because color-shifting ink was hard to get, they couldn't print fake money in large batches. But now, with Sulai being able to formulate it, this problem would be solved. From now on, they could print as much fake money as they wanted, without worrying about whether they had enough ink. Sulai really was a treasure. Not only was his drawing skill excellent, but he also helped solve the most troublesome color-shifting ink problem. I admit I spoke a bit loudly to you this morning. My attitude was bad. Please don't take it to heart. Wu Koan's attitude towards Sulai, compared to this morning, had undergone a 180-degree turn. What about the money? Sulai asked hurriedly. Wu Koan didn't answer immediately, but waited silently in his heart. Ultimately, he nodded. Let's do as you said. I'll take you to the bank to get the money. We'll stop by to buy some more pigment on the way. You pick it out yourself this time, so I don't buy the wrong ones again. Wu Koan didn't suspect at all that Sulai had deliberately played a trick. After all, he had seen the formulated color-shifting ink, and it really was just a little bit off. Thinking about it, he knew. It must have been because he bought the wrong colors. He really couldn't tell the difference between the pigments in the store. He even consulted the bot at the time, but the bot only cared about selling and couldn't tell the difference. He had no choice but to bite the bullet. He spent a long time picking according to Sulai's instructions. Who knew he still bought the wrong thing? Although he agreed to take Sulai out with him, Wu Koan still felt a bit wary deep down. He didn't just plan to take Sulai along. He also prepared to bring 3 others. The goal was to keep a close eye on Sulai, to prevent him from doing anything once they were out, if he wasn't paying attention. Sulai is a talent, that's true, but before Wu Koan fully trusts him, he won't let his guard down. I plan to buy more supplies for the color-shifting ink at once. Make more color-shifting ink. You 3 come along too. Help move things. After this big job, we'll go abroad to rest for a year, and lay low while we're at it. Wise move, but 1 car fits exactly 5 people. Song Chongqing drove, with Wu Koan in the passenger seat. Sulai sat right in the middle of the back seat, with 1 person on each side of him. He was being watched like a hawk. It's worth mentioning that this time, Sulai's eyes weren't covered. Perhaps because there were so many people along, Wu Koan didn't believe he could pull anything off. Or perhaps Wu Koan, because of Sulai's performance, had developed a shred of trust in him. Arriving at the bank, Wu Koan unbuckled his seatbelt to get out and withdraw money. I'm coming in too. I need to watch you withdraw the cash. Hearing Sulai's words, Wu Koan just smiled. You're certainly cautious. We're already at the bank entrance. What else is there to worry about? Do you think I can perform magic? Can I conjure 5 million in fake bills out of thin air? Sulai didn't answer, but his gaze remained very firm. Because the color-shifting ink was sorted, Wu Koan was in a good mood and didn't lose his temper. Instead, he waved his hand. Fine, come on, but you can only sit in the lobby. Wait there with the three of them watching you. Wu Kuan walked in front. Song Changqing and the other two in the Tim, followed closely by Su Lai's side, to prevent him from playing any tricks. Before going to the 6 AI counter to withdraw money, Wu Kuan specifically turned back to look. At this moment, Su Lai was sitting on a chair in the lobby, watched closely by Song Changqing and the others. Only then did he feel relieved, being watched by three people, and having his phone taken away. He definitely couldn't pull any tricks. Even if Su Lai shouted for help, the people around wouldn't necessarily pay attention. Even if a busybody helped him call the police, it would still take time for them to arrive. Talking on the phone to verify the situation, asking for the address, it would take at least half an hour on the road. By then, they would have already run away. Wu Kuan thought he was smart enough, with a plan for every contingency. He thought Su Lai couldn't possibly play tricks under their noses, but since Su Lai led them to the bank, he definitely had a way to keep them from leaving. Damn it, jailer, the three of them asked reflexively. 7 o'clock direction. Song Changqing and the others subconsciously turned to look. Who would have thought that at this moment, Su Lai would suddenly strike? With lightning speed, he pulled the knife tucked into Song Changqing's waist. Then, with his left hand, he grabbed Song's hair and pulled back, while his right hand held the knife against the man's throat. The sequence of moves was fluid, as if he had practiced it countless times in his mind. Even though Song Changqing was skilled, he was helpless at this moment. The blade was pressed against his throat. Any movement meant death. But he wasn't the only one watching Su Lai. Song Changqing had two others with him, so Song Changqing wasn't panicked, waiting for his two companions to help. The two men's reactions were also fast. Without a word, they moved to help, but Su Lai didn't give them a chance at all. He immediately shouted, "Don't you dare move. Robbing the bank. Staff, hurry up and get me 5 million, or I'll kill him. Otherwise, I'll kill him." Su Lai couldn't subdue 4 people at once on his own, and if one of them ran, they would definitely tip off the others, telling them to run away immediately. The situation was tricky, but Su Lai understood one principle: since he couldn't solve the problem alone, then escalate the problem. Once the situation is big enough, someone will solve it. If the police receive other types of reports, the response speed might not be very fast. By the time they arrive, the opportunity will be gone. But a bank robbery is a matter that cannot be delayed. Once such a report is received, the police will arrive within minutes. Su Lai just needed to stall for a few minutes. Song Changqing, robbing a bank? Has this kid lost his mind? He's gone crazy. The other two wanted to step forward to save Song, and then the three of them would deal with Su Lai together. After subduing this kid as quickly as possible, they would immediately retreat. But they didn't expect Su Lai to be crazy, completely crazy. Robbing a bank? Really? Once the police receive a report of a bank robbery, they can arrive in just a few minutes. And it won't just be 1 or 2 of them. They come by the carload. A dozen cars will arrive. Enough to surround the bank. Not just regular police, but armed police and SWAT will arrive too. By then, the trouble will be huge. The two stood there, stunned for a long while. They never imagined Su Lai would pull such a stunt. This sudden turn of events left them a bit brain dead. But their dazed state didn't last long. After realizing their situation, they turned and ran without looking back. As the saying goes, better the friend dies than me. To hell with the accomplices. At a time like this, one's own life is more important. Banks have alarm devices. The alarm button connects to the bank security department and also connects to the local 110. Pressing the button is equivalent to calling the police directly. The alarm button is located at the teller's station, and there are usually several such alarm buttons. They are everywhere, by the hands and feet. If they really encounter a bank robbery, the staff can completely, without changing their expression, call the police without the criminals noticing. Don't just run away yourselves. Damn. Seeing 2 accomplices abandon him, Song Changqing was sweating profusely. After cursing, he turned to communicate with Su Lai. Su Lai, have you lost your mind? Who told you we're here to rob a bank? Stop messing around. He then shouted to the bank security guard holding a riot fork, explaining, "We aren't here to rob the bank. Really, this is my younger brother. He has some mental issues. You have to believe me." Listening to Song Changqing's nonsense, the security guards were also a bit stunned. They didn't know if Su Lai had mental issues, but this Song Changqing's brain was definitely not working. "You're the hostage. Damn it. The robber's knife is at your throat. And you're still helping the robber make excuses?" While Su Lai was controlling Song Changqing, he didn't forget to trick the security guard with a riot fork. "Keep an eye on Wu Kuan and the other two in the gang. What are you three doing? Why aren't you moving? Hurry. Each of you take a hostage as a human shield." Wu Kuan, seeing the situation was bad, had already planned to slip away in the chaos. Who would have thought that before he could run out the door? Su Lai's words made the security guards notice him. The security guards were quite capable. Su Lai's intention was for the guards to watch the three, to keep them from running before the police arrived. Who knew the guard with the riot fork was incredibly brave? Seeing Wu Kuan had no weapons, he rushed over without a word. He pinned Wu Kuan to the wall with the riot fork, unable to move. At the same time, he warned him, "Don't move. Stay still." The fate of the other two wasn't much better than Wu Kuan's. Neither of them had the habit of carrying a knife. In terms of skill, they were naturally inferior to the best fighter, Song Changqing, and were just like ordinary people. Facing the security guard with the riot fork, they had no way out. Almost without resistance, they were pinned to the wall. For the bank security guards, the only thug left to deal with was Su Lai alone. But the trouble was, this kid had a knife, and was holding a hostage. It was difficult. The security guards didn't dare to act rashly, fearing that if Su Lai got agitated, he'd do something extreme. Wu Kuan, pinned to the wall by the riot fork, didn't know why Su Lai had suddenly gone crazy, but he knew he was likely done for this time, falling into the hands of a young kid. Once the police arrive, he's finished. Whether it was the riot fork pressing on his chest, or being angered by this kid Su Lai, Wu Kuan felt dizzy. His chest felt tight. The more he thought, the angrier he got. He simply opened his mouth at Su Lai and unleashed a string of insults. Su Lai didn't talk back, just listened silently. When Wu Kuan was tired of cursing and just about to catch his breath to continue, Su Lai started to counterattack. Rebound. It was Lai punching cotton. He was even angrier for a moment. I rebound. Longcheng District Branch, bank robbery. Learning that within his jurisdiction, a serious crime like a bank robbery had occurred, Zhang Weiman felt the sky was falling. What's been going on lately? The recent fake currency case hasn't been solved yet, which is already chaotic enough. Who knew a bank robbery case would come along too? Can't a guy catch a break? But complaining is just complaining. Zhang Weiman still reacted quickly. He ordered the nearest police station to send people immediately, stabilize the situation, and contact a negotiator. He also rushed over himself. Additionally, he requested reinforcements from armed police and SWAT. Hurry! Those who can commit a bank robbery are all vicious criminals. Grassroots officers might not be able to handle such people. Therefore, it is necessary to find brother units for support. This can effectively prevent the situation from worsening. In desperate times, snipers can also directly take down the criminals. After deploying, Zhang Weiman also rushed over immediately. This happened in his jurisdiction. If something really went wrong, he wouldn't be able to escape responsibility. The nearest police station had already dispatched officers. To reach the scene earlier, the police car turned on its lights and sirens, ran red lights all the way, and arrived at the scene in just 5 minutes. Upon arriving, they found the scene was already mostly controlled by security. 3 criminals were subdued by the bank's security guards. Only one criminal holding a hostage was still resisting. But fortunately, there were no casualties. What puzzled the officers was, this group of bank robbers seemed to have had an internal conflict, cursing each other with terrible language. Of course, none of that mattered. The most important thing now was to stabilize the armed criminal's mood. He must not be allowed to harm the hostage. You take the other 3 criminals out. I'll calm this young man down. After saying that, the more experienced officer turned his head, preparing to calm Sulai down. Don't get excited. Let's talk this out. Whatever your demands are, we can. Before he could finish his sentence, Sulai interrupted him. Don't speak yet. Listen to me. My name is Sulai, a probationary officer at the Longcheng District Branch. I am currently executing an arrest mission. The 3 people subdued by the guards, including the one in my hands, are all members of the same counterfeit currency gang. There are 8 members in this counterfeit gang. I lured these 4 out. There are 4 others hiding in their counterfeit den. I know where the counterfeit den is, but there isn't much time left. If they don't see their accomplices return for too long, the remaining 4 will definitely run away. So I need your cooperation. Saying this, Sulai freed one hand and took out his ID card from his pocket, which he used for his registration at the unit, and tossed it over. This is my ID. You can take it to verify my identity. The officer was slightly stunned after hearing this, but still picked up the ID from the ground and handed it to his colleague behind him to track. Only then did Wu Kuan realized that Sulai's identity was actually a cop. You're a cop, damn it. Yeah, didn't expect that, did you? Honestly, I didn't expect that on my first day of work. I'd have criminals rushing to deliver performance for me. Thanks, you're actually a pretty good guy. At this time, Sulai's superior, Jiang Weiman, was still on his way. The recent fake currency case had already left him exhausted, and he hadn't had a good night's sleep in a long time. The bank robbery that just happened was undoubtedly adding insult to injury. Just then, the phone in Jiang Weiman's pocket rang. Hello, I'm Jiang Weiman. Speak, Chief Zhang, I'm from the Zhangqiao Road Police Station. We've already arrived at the bank. Before the other party could finish, Jiang Weiman immediately interrupted him, asking quickly, how's the situation? Is the situation under control? Are there any casualties? The situation is basically under control. There are no casualties, but there's a situation I need to verify with you. What situation? Is there a probationary officer named Sulai at the branch? Sulai? Jiang Weiman didn't remember having such a person in the branch. I'm not quite sure. Wait a moment, let me find someone to verify. After all, he was the branch chief with too many things to manage. It was impossible to remember everyone's name, let alone the name of a probationary officer. And the fake currency case during this period had left him overwhelmed. How could he have the mood to care about a probationary officer? He covered the receiver and asked. Jiang Weiman inquired of his capable subordinates riding in the same car. Does our branch have a probationary officer named Sulai? The name sounds familiar. Sulai? Oh, I know. A little guy was supposed to report to the station today. His name is Sulai. We were just talking about him this morning. This kid dared to be late on his first day of work. That's really absurd. But why are you asking about him? Jiang Weiman didn't know why either. He would suddenly ask about a probationary officer. He immediately said into the phone, our branch does have a probationary officer named Sulai. What happened to him? He said he knows the location of the counterfeit gang's den and wants us to cooperate with him to make arrests. Chief Zhang, since he's your man, do we need to cooperate with his operation? No, wait. Aren't we talking about a bank robbery? How did it get to a counterfeit currency gang? It's like this. Chief Zhang, the person robbing the bank is the officer named Sulai from your branch. He said he was executing an arrest mission. The accomplices robbing the bank with him are members of that counterfeit currency gang. It looks like they were tricked into the bank by Sulai and were completely unaware of the bank robbery. Jiang Weiman had a lot of information to process. He had to sort it out. So the bank robbery was fake? This was a plan the newcomer Sulai came up with in a moment of wit. The purpose was likely to get the police to respond as quickly as possible and arrive at the bank to help control the counterfeit gang members he tricked into the bank. Then, bring people to wipe out the counterfeit gang in one go. No, something isn't right. A counterfeit gang that the whole branch couldn't handle was being played around by a newcomer? This is unreasonable, very unreasonable. Even TV shows aren't filmed like this. Jiang Weiman was rarely distracted. The officer beside him couldn't help but ask, what's wrong, Ji Zhang? This wasn't something that could be explained in a few words. How much longer until we arrive at the scene? About 3 minutes. Drive, hurry. After saying that, Jiang Weiman said to the phone, don't worry, I'm almost there. Everything will wait until I arrive, before long. Jiang Weiman arrived with the branch officers. As soon as the car stopped, he got out immediately. Where's Sulai? Where is Sulai? Sulai looked at the person approaching. He saw a silver olive branch on the other shoulder strap and a silver 4-pointed star. This was the shoulder strap of a third-class police commissioner. If nothing unexpected happened, the person in front of him was the chief of the Longcheng District Branch. The deputy chief immediately saluted, reporting to the leader, I'm here. You are Sulai? What is going on here? Sulai organized his words and then reported everything that happened to him today to Jiang Weiman as quickly as possible. Of course, he omitted the system part, mainly because awakening a system or something might not be believable even if he said it. It's better not to say it. After hearing Sulai's report, Jiang Weiman was a bit stunned for a moment. Not just him, the officers who came with him also felt it was a bit absurd. You mean, you met the head of the counterfeit gang on your way to work, and then he took you to their lair, and made you help draw counterfeit templates, and you tricked 4 of the criminals into the bank? That's right. Sulai nodded and explained. But I couldn't subdue all 4 of them at once on my own. I could only rely on a sneak attack to subdue the one with the best skills and a knife. At that time, if I had revealed my identity and asked the people around to help subdue the criminals, no one would have dared to come up and help. Lying about a bank robbery was the only way. The principle of extreme situations requiring extreme measures. Everyone understood. In an emergency, officers can ignore traffic laws, can fire warning shots, or even shoot on the spot, dealing with out-of-control criminals first and reporting later. These practices are extremely normal, but Sulai's methods were a bit too extraordinary, lying directly about a bank robbery, let alone ordinary officers. Even Jiang Weiman, the branch chief, had never encountered such a situation. Speaking of which, Sulai's operation was undoubtedly a violation, a serious violation at that. But then again, if Sulai hadn't thought of lying about a bank robbery in a critical moment, the criminals would have escaped long ago. If they had escaped today, it would be hard to catch them later. The fake currency made by this gang is almost indistinguishable from the real thing with the naked eye. Their existence seriously affected social stability. Taking down this gang is a great achievement. Sulai had both merit and fault this time. Merit is naturally a great achievement. Fault is undoubtedly also a big one. So is the merit greater than the fault, or the fault greater than the merit? It's hard to say, but it just so happens that not long ago, the Bureau had planned a bank robbery drill. The drill aimed to effectively maintain the district's security, strengthen bank security, improve the coordination and handling capabilities of grassroots officers, armed police, and SWAT, and test the police system's emergency response capabilities. Because of the headache-inducing fake currency case during this time, Jiang Weiman had to indefinitely postpone this drill. Speaking of which, whether Su Lai's actions this time could be considered a fault, all depended on Jiang Weiman's decision. If he wanted to, Su Lai's violation this time wouldn't be a violation. Bank robbery or not, this was clearly just a police drill. Pretending to be a robber to rob the bank was just a task assigned to Su Lai by the Bureau. Undoubtedly, this kid Su Lai is a talent. This can be seen from him going deep into the criminal gang alone, and successfully finding the location of the other party's lair. Although they had only met once, Jiang Weiman had a good impression of this decisive, quick-witted, and unconventional little guy. In just a short while, the protective Jiang Weiman made up his mind. After going through the explanation in his heart briefly, Jiang Weiman turned around and ran toward the crowd watching the excitement nearby. I am Jiang Weiman, chief of the Longcheng district branch. What everyone saw was a police drill for special situations. In order to let everyone see more intuitively our police's handling methods for similar situations, this drill was specifically conducted in a confidential manner, without notice or warning. Only a few people, including myself, knew the drill content. Honestly, I am quite satisfied with the results of this drill. In a completely unaware situation, everyone saw the performance of our Longcheng district police force. It only took a few minutes to control the situation. Hearing Jiang Weiman's words, the onlookers nearby suddenly realized. So it was a drill. I was wondering, how could a robber come to rob a bank with just a knife? Lie, it was a joke. Nonsense, if you could get a gun. They said it's a simulation drill. It must follow the most realistic standards. But regardless, the police's actions were indeed fast. It's only been a few minutes, and the robbers were all controlled. We have to give the police officers a thumbs up. Should have said it was a drill. I would have filmed it and posted it online. It would have gone viral for sure. Many officers only realized then, man, it was actually a drill? The chief kept that well hidden. Didn't leak a thing. Only Su Lai and Jiang Weiman's core team knew. It wasn't just a drill at all. Even the senior officers, with their keen instincts, already figured it out. The chief used the drill as an excuse to help the rookie, Su Lai. Anyone who knows Jiang Weiman knows he's protective of his own. It's no surprise he'd do this. With the drill successfully concluded and the crowd dispersed, Jiang Weiman looked at Su Lai. Su Lai was looking back at him too. Thanks, chief. I won't mention that. Get in the car. You lead the way to their hideout. As he finished speaking, more cars arrived at the bank. SWAT and armed police reinforcements arrived. Jiang Weiman had wanted to play it safe, so he'd called for backup early on. But who knew the bank robbery was a fluke? Just a mess caused by his own people. Chief Zhang, what's the situation inside? Xing Jun, the armed police leader, asked. As soon as he stepped out, they'd worked together before, so he and Zhang knew each other. Zhang didn't use the drill excuse on his friend. After all, Xing was an armed police leader. If there were a joint drill, Xing would definitely be in the loop. It's hard to explain in a few words. It's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? What do you mean? I'll explain it to you later. I've got an operation to catch the rest. Hey, since you're already here, why not join us? Don't waste the trip. I can explain everything on the way. We can track how the kids are training too. Just lie that. A group of about 200 people, in dozens of cars, set off. Destination, the counterfeit gang's hideout. It was a massive force of police and SWAT. It felt like using a cannon to kill a mosquito. There were only 4 guys left at the hideout. Was it really necessary to go all out? It's like sending 200 adults to beat up 4 elementary school kids. Meanwhile, the 4 at the factory were dreaming big. I never expected the new guy could handle the color-shifting ink. Yeah, the ink is done. Now we can print as much as we want. Exactly. When the machines run, the gold flows. We'll have the SKS for everyone. Damn right, we're gonna make it big. Make it big? I decided. After this job, I'm done. I'll find a wife and lie a normal life. To clear up the misunderstanding, Zhang rode with the 2 unit leaders. He even brought Su Lai along. With the case close to being solved, Zhang finally had a smile on his face. After hearing Zhang Shitari, Xing Jun and Zhou Tianqi looked at Su Lai. There was a hint of approval in their eyes. You mean this kid played the whole gang lie a fiddle? Xing Jun turned to Su Lai. Faking a bank robbery? You've got guts. Your methods are pretty wild. Xing didn't hide his admiration for Su Lai. Compared to him, Zhou Tianqi was a bit more reserved. He's sharp, alright, but this method was against the rules. Robbing a bank is no small matter. Doing it during your probation? Who knows what you'll do next? Chief Zhang, are you sure about keeping him? You can cover for him this time, but what if he causes bigger trouble later? Before Zhang could say anything, Zhou continued. You can't handle this kid, trust me. Hand him over to me. I can handle him. Zhang laughed. So, after all that, you're just trying to poach my guy? Zhang wasn't about to let Su Lai go. He'd already seen the kid's potential. Your plan is a bit too small-minded. Lai Zhou, Xing Jun, was also interested in Su Lai, but he didn't beat around the bush. He started poaching right in front of Zhang. Su Lai, interested in joining the armed police? With your skills, staying at the station is a waste of talent. My unit is a better fit for you. Hey, Xing, what's going on? I'm still sitting right here. Do you think I'm invisible? Poaching him right in front of me? Zhang was annoyed. He cut Xing off. Don't talk, let Su Lai choose himself. Zhou, having been shut down, jumped in too. Chief Zhang, don't talk. Let Su Lai choose. Stop arguing, you guys. With 3 big bosses staring at him, Su Lai felt like he was in a DRE mob, the kind where the leads fight over the girl. Su Lai definitely preferred Jiang Weiman. After all, he had the god-tier detective system. The chief just did me a huge favor. I'm not the type to forget a kindness. Su Lai didn't finish his sentence, but the meaning was clear. He chose Jiang Weiman. Zhang was very pleased. He knew he hadn't misjudged the kid. Su Lai was smart, brave, and loyal. He shrugged at the others like a winner. Well, anything else to say? Due to the nature of their units, Xing and Zhou preferred Su Lai's wild style. They weren't interested in finding out Su Lai was decisive and loyal made them want him even more. But Zhang held on tight. and Sulai didn't want to leave the chief, who had just helped him out. Poaching him was out of the question.
Damn, the police.
The police are here. What are you standing there for? Run, can't we go out the back? The back is covered too, we're surrounded. What's going on?
How did the police find this place?
What time is it? Stop asking questions and grab your weapons. Realizing they were surrounded, the four decided to fight it out. They grabbed some machetes and prepared to ambush them at the door. But the next second,
a loud crash echoed.
The factory window shattered. A smoke grenade flew in. Then a second, then a third. The thick smoke made their eyes water.
With a loud bang,
the factory door was kicked open. Armed SWAT and police poured in. The guy who wanted to fight
saw the nightmare through the door.
Regular police, SWAT, and armed police.
Dozens of cars, over 100 people, and they were all fully armed.
With guns? This isn't an arrest. This is a counter-terrorism operation. Fight? Fight my ass. Even if they had AKs, they couldn't win.
Compared to the well-trained police, they were just sitting ducks. They barely resisted. And were all captured. The smoke and tear gas
made them cry like babies. After being dragged out, they finally got some relief. Is it just these four? Anyone else?
That's them.
But I'm not sure if there are others. As far as I know, there were only 8 in the gang. The other 4 were caught at the bank. Sulai replied. They looked toward the familiar voice.
They were stunned.
The one speaking was Sulai. Sulai, we meet again. But I'm a cop. The 4 were shot. Sulai's a cop. So you're the one who led them here?
But we're screwed.
Why did you bring a cop back? With the help of the SWAT and armed police, the operation was a complete success. The 4 criminals couldn't do a thing. They were dragged out like chickens by the highly trained officers. They were brought to the station easily. Zhang immediately arranged for interrogation. The gang members, led by Wu Kuan, hadn't been sitting long
when Zhang's phone rang.
When he got the call this morning,
he was full of worry. But now, he was smiling. He stood up straight.
He was even looking forward to it. The higher-ups were calling to trek in. Zhang felt like a student who'd finished his homework on time. He couldn't wait for the teacher to trek it.
Sure enough,
the leader asked about the bank robbery. That was a drill. It's over now. You have time for drills? Did you finish the counterfeit case? Zhang waited for this exact question.
He spoke calmly.
We've caught all 8 suspects, including the ringleader. We destroyed the hideout
and seized paper, ink, and a printing press.
Meanwhile, in the interrogation room, can't you see for yourself? The officer slammed the table.
I'm warning you, this is a police station. Answer what I ask.
Be serious. Gender, a Walmart shopping bag. If he were sentenced based on the amount, he'd likely face the death penalty. Even if not, he'd never see the light of day. He knew that well, so he didn't act nervous like other suspects. He was even smiling, looking like a total punk. The officer was speechless,
but he didn't want to argue.
He just wrote unknown in the gender box. The other officer continued.
Why make fake money?
I can't make real money, can I? So I had to make fake ones. Wait.
Officer, don't go.
I'll talk. Just ask. I'll tell you everything. Can I have a cigarette? I know I'm not long for this world.
I just want one last smoke. If you grant me this wish,
I'll tell you everything. Such requests are common in interrogation. The officer didn't hesitate. He lit a cigarette and handed it to Wu Kuan. Wu took a deep drag. He leaned back, looking relaxed. He started spilling everything. My name is Wu Kuan, from Shenzhen, been in this for 20 years. As Wu spoke,
the whole shittery of Sulai's case emerged.
Sulai had given a rough idea, but not in such detail. It was from Wu that the officers learned that the rookie, Sulai, had such high talent for counterfeiting. Even Wu, a 20-year veteran, called him the best he'd ever seen.
A natural-born master.
A cop with such talent for fake money? Is that reasonable? It's perfectly reasonable. Facing his colleague's confusion, Sulai explained. I studied art for a while.
Making templates
is basically just sketching, except the subject is real money. Is it weird for an art student to know sketching?
As for the ink, Wu mentioned it too.
I have tetrachromatic vision. My color perception is much better than average.
So recreating the ink was easy. Sulai paused. It's a good thing I studied art.
Otherwise I wouldn't have caught a criminal while just eating breakfast, though it was his first day. Sulai was already a star at the station. This rookie was just too impressive. On his first day, he took down a gang that had been a headache for ages. That record isn't seen anywhere. It's no wonder the veterans were curious. Since the case was closed and there was no urgent work, they gathered around Sulai to hear Ishitari.
How he went undercover
and outsmarted the criminals.
They listened with great interest.
Zhang saw this and didn't mind. He didn't just let it slide. He decided to treat everyone to dinner.
Everyone had been working hard lately, since we have a new guy.
I'm treating everyone tonight. Let's welcome our new colleague and celebrate the case being closed. If you're fried tonight, let me know now. I need to book a table.
Chief Zhang is treating?
We're done. Come in.
I'm in too. With the case closed and the gang behind bars, Sulai sat at his desk, looking out the window.
A system notification rang in his head. Congratulations on solving the case. You've earned a random reward.
Skill extraction in progress. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Sulai rubbed his hands in anticipation.
Skill extracted. The flying club, after activating,
you can sneak up behind a target
and give them a knockout blow. The first hit is a guaranteed stun.
You notice the black stockings on the street, and you probably have a bold idea.
Sulai's face fell. Are you kidding me? When he first got the system,
he got a counterfeiting skill.
He accepted that. It was a freebie, after all.
Can't complain about fry stuff.
But what is this now? The flying club?
Isn't that just sucker punching people? And what's with the black stockings and the bold idea?
He's a police officer.
What kind of bold idea could he have? Is this a god-tier detective system? It's more like a god-tier criminal system. While complaining in his head, the techniques for the knockout blow
Flooded his mind. How to sneak up on a target.
how to use his muscles perfectly, how to hit with maximum impact, where to strike to knock someone out without killing them or causing damage.
And how different sticks affect the feel. Sulai felt like he could write a thesis on this.
Title, on sneak attacks.
My years as a Laolu camper.
I'm a young man, why talk about honor?
Learning to knock people out at the station? In Sulai's mind. Police are full of justice, brave and upright.
Bright eyes, straight posture, righteous. Knocking people out has nothing to do with that. The dissonance is just too strong. Who sneaks up on people's backs?
Imagine. While others are confronting criminals,
Sulai, this handsome guy, sneaks up behind the criminal, slowly pulls out an 80-centimeter stick,
and knocks them out.
That's just a total Laolu move. If people saw that, it would ruin the police's image. I'm a police officer.
You want me to sneak attack? Sorry, system, you've got the wrong guy.
Sulai, will never use such dirty tricks. Later that evening, Zhang kept his promise. He treated everyone to dinner.
Sulai was the center of attention.
He wasn't old, but he was a good talker.
He could handle any topic.
By the end of the meal, he was close to everyone. Many veterans wanted to mentor him. Finally, Han Fei, a 10-year veteran, won. For the next year of probation, Han Fei would be his mentor.
He'd show him the ropes
and how the police handle cases, helping him integrate into the team.
After dinner, Sulai went home. Just as he got into bed, his phone rang.
Son, are you asleep? Not yet.
How was your first day?
It was fine. The bot values me. My colleagues are easy to get along with.
Stop bragging. It's your first day. Why would the bot value you? Anyway, are you fry this weekend? You're not young anymore.
Mom found you a blind date.
What did you say?
I said I found you a blind date.
Take some time to meet her.
Not that part, the part before that. The part before? Son, are you asleep?
I'm asleep. Good night. Sulai hung up the phone. Blind dates are so annoying. Not happening. But Mom wasn't giving up. As soon as he hung up,
she sent a few more messages.
This girl
is great in every way.
She's not very tall, but not too short either.
1.55 m. She's 1.7 m. She jumps.
Go meet her when you're fry. Also, you're working now. Your dad and I want to buy you a car.
Do you lie the Mercedes E-Class or BMW 5 Series?
Sulai, did we get rich?
No, the last message was a lie. I just wanted to see if you read them.
Glad you saw them.
Sulai deleted a message.
Blind dates are impossible. Never happening. Facing the pressure from home.
Sulai chose to ignore it when chatting with family.
If he sensed any marriage talk, he'd find an excuse to stop. What's wrong?
You solved a big case on your first day.
Why are you so gloomy? Seeing Sulai looking down for days, Han Fei, his mentor, asked. My family is pressuring me to marry.
Sulai sighed and waved his hand.
He showed Han Fei the chat history with his mom.
She sends messages every day about blind dates.
This week alone,
she's found me over 30 candidates.
Mentor, what do you think? Sulai clearly asked the wrong person.
Han Fei was about the same age as his parents.
Compared to Sulai,
Han Fei could understand his parents better.
He even tried to persuade him. What's the big deal?
Your family is doing it for your own good.
You're working now. It's time to think about marriage. You young people, you think too much.
Afraid of this and that after marriage.
I think marriage is great. What's so great about it?
I think marriage has no benefits at all. Han Fei is about the same age as her parents. Compared to Sulai, Han Fei understands Sulai's parents better.
He even helped persuade them a bit.
What's the big deal? Your family just wants what's best for you. You're already working.
It really is time to think about marriage. You young people,
you overthink things. Afraid marriage will be bad this or that.
I think marriage is great. How is it great? I don't see any good in marriage. What kind of talk is that?
Of course there are perks to marriage. The perks of marriage are... Han Fei was stumped by Sulai's question.
The perks are, you know.
Han Fei smacked his lips. He scratched his head again. He squinted his eyes in deep thought, but his brain was practically smoking.
He just couldn't think of a single perk. Just then, Chief Zhang Weiman walked out of his office with a smile. He clapped his hands and said,
"Everyone, pause your work for a moment. I have something to say."
All eyes in the station turned to Zhang Weiman.
It's been about a week since the counterfeit case. At this point in time, the only thing that would make Chief Zhang smile like that is most likely a commendation. As for the recipient, it has to be the rookie, Sulai. After all, he was instrumental in taking down that annoying gang. Sulai deserves the credit. Everyone looked at Sulai, their eyes full of envy. Many of them hadn't received a commendation after years on the force. For a rookie like Sulai to get one so soon is truly impressive.
Officers sitting near Sulai leaned over, giving him a light punch on the chest.
In a congratulatory tone, they said, "Didn't I tell you a couple of days ago? Your commendation is finally here."
Look at Chief Zhang. He's grinning ear to ear. Hey, once you get the medal, can I touch it? I've never touched one before. Seeing everyone's reaction, Zhang Weiman didn't keep them waiting. I see you've all guessed what I'm about to say. Two things. First, let's congratulate Sulai. This new officer made a major contribution in the counterfeit bust.
He's awarded a second-class merit and 10,000 in cash. Whoa, second-class merit.
Hearing Zhang Weiman's words, the officers couldn't help but gasp in surprise. They knew Sulai's performance would surely be rewarded, but no one expected it would be a second-class merit. Forget second class. Even a third class is a big deal. Honors are hard to come by in peacetime. Many veterans who have been here for years
have never received a second-class merit.
Looking at Sulai, he took down a gang on his first day. Even as a rookie, he earned an honor many veterans dream of.
Awesome, Sulai. Second-class merit. A second-class merit comes with a 10,000 bonus.
You just started working.
Haven't even gotten your first paycheck and the bonus is already here. The bonus is nothing.
Don't be so shallow. The honor is what matters, Oku. I thought he'd only get a third class.
Who would've thought? Amazing, truly amazing. How could it only be a third class? That counterfeit gang caused such massive damage. It was obvious it would be more than a third class. While everyone was immersed in the SOC of Su Lai's award, while they were still in SOC, Han Fei, his mentor, was still frowning in thought.
What were those marriage perks again?
After announcing Su Lai's award, Zheng Weiman continued. Quiet, there's one more thing. The higher-ups have seen the hard work of all our officers during this period. Our precinct has been awarded a collective third-class merit. A 10,000 bonus? Really, Chief Shang? We get SE too? Of course.
Would I lie to you? Taking down the gang led by Wu Koen.
Su Lai deserves the credit.
As for the others, they didn't do much.
But a collective merit is a shared honor. Su Lai is part of the team, so it's only natural the precinct gets the merit.
It's thanks to Su Lai. Realizing this,
the colleagues looked at Su Lai with more than just envy. They felt gratitude. A collective merit is still an honor.
And a decent one at that. Little Su, we're lucky to have you. An officer about Han Fei's age walked over,
patted Su Lai on the shoulder, and then poked the frowning Han Fei.
Old Han, why are you spacing out? Your apprentice got a second-class merit, and we all got to save the glory with a collective third-class merit. Why aren't you saying anything as his mentor?
Han Fei looked up at his colleague. I'm trying to figure out the perks of marriage.
Why are you obsessing over that?
Besides, aren't there plenty of perks? You can't think of any? Let me give you a few examples.
For instance, because of the award,
the atmosphere in the station was quite cheerful. Almost everyone had a smile on their face, but the good times didn't last. In the afternoon, the station received a report. Coincidentally, it was another bank robbery. But this wasn't a misunderstanding, and it definitely wasn't a drill. This was a real-deal bank robbery. The officers didn't hesitate and rushed to the scene. Upon arrival, they realized the situation was far worse than imagined. The robber had a homemade shotgun. He was holding over a dozen hostages. Plus, he had a bomb strapped to his body. It looked like a significant amount. The remote was in his hand. If he pressed it just a little, the bank would likely be leveled. All the hostages would be dead. After arriving, Zheng Weiman immediately arranged for someone to talk to him, trying to stabilize his emotions while quickly evacuating the surrounding crowd and setting up a perimeter. The robber came with a bomb and a shotgun, clearly having planned this meticulously. Expecting him to give up through negotiation was impossible. After communicating with him, the negotiator realized this and returned to Zheng Weiman, relaying the robber's demands. He wants us to prepare a car, plus 50 kilograms of gold bars. Deadline, 30 minutes. If he doesn't see the gold in 30 minutes, he'll detonate the bomb and take the hostages with him. The officers nearby
couldn't help but gasp.
50 kilograms of gold bars? He's got some nerve. Do you have any idea how much that is? 50 kilograms of gold is indeed worth a lot, but we have to agree to it for now. Stabilizing the robber is the top priority. After all, there are over a dozen hostages inside.
We must not provoke him right now.
Zheng Weiman barely hesitated before agreeing. He looked at the negotiator. Go tell him. We can give him the car and the gold.
But 30 minutes is too short.
We can't get that much gold on such short notice. We need at least an hour. At this moment, reinforcements were already on the way and would arrive within an hour. The reason Zheng Weiman said that was purely to buy time for the reinforcements. But this robber wasn't a pushover. After hearing the negotiator,
he roared.
An hour? Trying to stall, are you?
Don't think I don't know what you're up to.
30 minutes means 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, if I don't see the gold, I'm detonating the bomb. And all of you, back off. Back off 20 meters. Otherwise, I'll kill a hostage right now. Saying this, the robber grabbed a hostage and pressed the shotgun to their temple.
To prevent snipers from taking him out, the robber hid his body behind the hostage,
using them as a human shield. With hostages in hand, the police had no choice but to compromise. Zheng Weiman contacted the reinforcements again, telling them to speed up and arrive within 30 minutes if possible. If they could arrive within 30 minutes and sneak in to control the robber
or take him out,
that would be the best outcome.
But Zheng Weiman knew
it was unrealistic for reinforcements to arrive that fast. The time is too short. It's almost impossible. So Zheng Weiman didn't put all his eggs in the sniper basket, but made a backup plan. Notify everyone immediately to clear all vehicles and pedestrians from the main roads as quickly as possible and set up roadblocks. This is the worst case scenario. If reinforcements don't arrive in 30 minutes, we'll provide the gold and the car to ensure the hostage's safety.
Once the robber drives off, we'll use the roadblocks to catch him,
trapping him like a turtle in a jar. Unless the robber can fly,
he won't be getting away today.
But the police would inevitably pay a price. Anyone who dares to rob a bank is a desperate criminal who will never surrender easily.
When they encounter the roadblocks,
they will surely resist to the death.
He has a bomb and a gun. There will inevitably be bloodshed.
Han Fei, who has been in the force for over a decade, also realized that reinforcements couldn't be counted on. They could only rely on themselves. He immediately turned to Su Lai, the rookie he was mentoring.
I don't think we can count on reinforcements.
Remember, when we set up the roadblocks later,
don't rush to the front.
Always ensure your own safety first before thinking about catching the robber. This guy is dangerous.
He has a gun and a bomb.
He specifically warned Su Lai
because Han Fei knew rookies are reckless, fearless of everything.
Su Lai even more so.
This was clear from his daring infiltration of the gang's lair.
Su Lai didn't reply,
but calculated in his mind. If he snuck into the bank and caught the robber off guard, the chance of knocking him out was 100%.
The flying stick skill rewarded by the system is here.
This skill is no joke.
Once activated, he can appear behind the target unnoticed and give them a knockout blow. The first hit is guaranteed to knock them unconscious.
When he first got this skill, Su Lai was annoyed. What use does a cop have for this damn skill? But he didn't expect it to come in handy. Isn't this the perfect time to use it?
Sneaking in and knocking out the robber, saving the hostages, which seems difficult,
is not difficult for him at all. The only thing he's missing is a suitable stick.
Do you have a baton,
master?
Su Lai gestured.
The black kind, about this thick and this long. No, what would I need that for?
Wait, what are you trying to do? Did you hear what I just said?
Are you listening? Yeah, I heard you. Heard you loud and clear.
Han Fei, I don't think you heard a word. Repeat what I said.
Where did that kid go?
While they were talking, Su Lai had already disappeared.
Learning that Han Fei didn't have a baton, Su Lai had already set his sights elsewhere, looking for something to replace it. The first thing he noticed was a broom and mop outside a shop, but he dismissed them after one look. The handles were hollow. made of thin sheet metal. Not enough stopping power. Then Sulai looked at the trees by the road. He couldn't break the thick branches, and the thin ones wouldn't knock anyone out. He passed on those too. After looking around, Sulai's gaze finally locked onto a shop, an adult toy store. On the machine inside, there was what he needed, a dildo. The material is rubber, so the flexibility is a given, and the stopping power is quite strong. Most importantly, the grip is also quite suitable. It couldn't be a better replacement for a baton. At this point, the robber's 30-minute deadline had 10 minutes left. Sulai jogged and rushed into the adult toy store. He picked through the vending machine and finally chose one about 50 centimeters long, a rubber dildo. The adult store was over 200 meters from the bank. A cop running down the street with that thing is a bit hard to explain. It would be embarrassing for the police. After thinking, Sulai simply shoved the 50 centimeters dildo into his pants and secured it with his belt. Well hidden. Can't see a thing. Then he ran toward the bank. As Sulai ran, the highly offensive weapon he just bought swung back and forth in his pants. You could even vaguely see the outline through his trousers. Holy crap, did this guy steal a sugarcane from a fruit shop and hide it in his pants? The first one to notice Sulai's pants was a man who was watching the bank robbery from afar. But when he caught a glimpse of Sulai's extraordinary feature, he couldn't look away. Compared to that, the bank robbery seemed dull. Bank robberies are rare, but someone with Sulai's talent is even rarer. Truly incredible. We're both men. Why is he so prominent? Hearing the man, the people around looked in that direction. Stole a sugarcane and hid it in his pants? At first, some didn't understand, but after one look at Sulai, they understood and were speechless. Men were envious, women were blushing. Meanwhile, Han Fei was still looking around, anxiously searching for Sulai. He had just warned the kid not to do anything reckless. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, Sulai would be gone? Although he didn't know where Sulai went, a veteran cop's intuition told him Sulai was definitely up to something. Old Han, what are you looking around for? Jiang Weiman noticed Han Fei's panicked expression, with a hint of reproach in his tone. You're a veteran, experienced. You should be setting a good example for the young ones and showing the public our police standards. You're so nervous. What does that look like? It's not what you think. Han Fei explained. It's Sulai. He suddenly disappeared. Before he vanished, he asked me for a baton. I said no, and then he just disappeared. I suspect he's definitely up to something. Hearing this, Jiang Weiman was stunned and immediately looked around, but didn't see Sulai. Jiang Weiman felt a headache coming on. He didn't doubt Han Fei's guess at all. Sulai was definitely up to something. After all, he has a history. A guy who followed criminals on his first day and went deep into their lair to fight crime is capable of anything? It's worth mentioning. Han Fei said Sulai asked for a baton. A baton is only for close combat, with limited range but great power. One swing, and wherever it hits, that part will go numb, losing all control, unable to lift it for a while. If it hits a head, knocking someone out is possible. Knock them out? Jiang Weiman was stunned. Is Sulai planning to knock the robber out with a baton? He wouldn't, would he? That's too absurd. One hit. If he can knock the robber out, or even just hit him and temporarily disable him, that's fine. But if he misses, we're in big trouble. The robber has the remote to the bomb. As long as he presses the button, the bank will be leveled, and the hostages will die. Thinking of this, Jiang Weiman pointed at Han Fei's pocket. Call Sulai. Call him, quick. Whatever he's planning, make him stop immediately. Han Fei didn't move, his eyes fixed on the bank's glass door. Through the glass, he saw a familiar figure. It was none other than his new apprentice. Sulai, call him. Jiang Weiman urged. If he had Sulai's number, he would have called himself, without relying on Han Fei. No, don't call, and we can't call. Han Fei stammered, pointing at the bank. Chief, look. Following Han Fei's finger, Jiang Weiman felt his scalp tingle. The worst-case scenario had happened. Sulai had already snuck into the bank and was crouching, slowly approaching the robber from behind. The distance between him and the robber was only 5 to 6 meters. But the robber hadn't noticed anyone behind him. Han Fei was right. We definitely can't call now, because no one knows if Sulai put his phone on silent. If he didn't, a call right now would have disastrous consequences. He's going crazy. Jiang Weiman's heart was in his throat. But it was too late now. The die was cast. Sulai already snuck behind the robber. Now Jiang Weiman could only pray that Sulai wouldn't mess up. He took off his hat and scratched his head. The situation was out of his control. This feeling of being anxious but unable to do anything is terrible. The robber hid most of his body behind the hostage. One hand controlling the hostage, the other holding the detonator. He had waited a long time, but hadn't seen the police bring the gold in the car. He was getting impatient. He checked the time and roared outside. 5 minutes left. 5 more minutes. If I don't see the gold in the car, I'm detonating the bomb. And taking these people with me. We've sent people to get the gold. It'll be here soon. You're just after money. There's no need to sacrifice your life and so many others. Don't be agitated. Please don't be agitated. The negotiator tried to calm the robber down, fearing he might accidentally press the button. At this moment, Sulai was less than 2 meters behind him. 2 more steps and he could strike. Sulai stopped, slowly reached into his pants and carefully pulled it out. The next second, he slowly pulled out a weapon that not only caused physical damage, but also magical damage. What are you holding? I asked. What the hell are you holding? The hostages inside the bank noticed Sulai, but they were all tied up, with tape over their mouths. They had been struggling the whole time, so the robber hadn't noticed anything unusual. He kept checking the time and looking outside, considering whether to press the detonator, or give the police more time. Sulai, with his weapon drawn, was now less than half a meter behind the robber. This distance was perfect. Sulai gripped his weapon with both hands, and began to raise it. The spotlight on the bank ceiling shone on the transparent rubber weapon, making it shine brilliantly. Stop with the nonsense. I'm only giving you 5 minutes. 5 minutes later. The robber didn't know. As he spoke, the hand holding the detonator relaxed slightly. Now, Sulai seized the moment and swung the weapon with all his might. The rubber dildo became a blur and accurately smashed into the back of the robber's head. When Sulai raised the weapon, Jiang Weiman's heart was in his throat. He was a firm materialist, but just now,
He wished he could pray to every god he knew to ensure Sulai didn't mess up.
Let's just say Zhang Weiman underestimated Sulai.
And even more, the power of the rubber dildo in Sulai's hand.
But his opinion didn't matter.
Sulai was very confident in his knockout technique. The power of the fake victory. But his opinion doesn't matter. Sulai was confident in his knockout technique. Forget about this thug. Even Tyson wouldn't stand a chance.
Watch this special move. One solid strike with this, and he's out cold. Stop talking nonsense. I'm only giving you 5 minutes.
After 5 minutes,
I'm using this rubber toy Sulai has.
The thug stopped mid-sentence. His eyes rolled back, unconscious.
He collapsed to the ground. Sulai quickly snatched
the detonator from his hand. He steadied the hostage he'd just saved.
He untied her hands. He peeled off the tape. The hostage burst into tears.
When the thug held her
with that detonator, she didn't dare to cry. Now, her emotions finally broke. Sobbing uncontrollably, she instinctively hugged Sulai tight. That last half hour was the most terrifying moment of her life.
She desperately needed comfort. Sulai understood her SOC.
He didn't push her away,
though he felt a bit suffocated. He didn't try to break free.
As an officer, he could handle it.
He gently patted her shoulder, trying to calm her down.
It's okay, don't be afraid. You're safe now.
The girl glanced at what he held.
She even forgot to cry.
She was completely stunned.
Did you knock him out with that?
No, I struck him out,
Sulai explained,
tossing the rubber toy aside. The girl looked up at him.
Her eyes rimmed with red.
Tears streaked her face. Her eyes were wide with panic.
Like a frightened little rabbit.
Is there